What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here. And today we are continuing with our 2024 NFL Draft Scouting Reports, taking a look at Minnesota safety Tyler Nubin. Widely considered the safety one in the 2024 NFL Draft and kind of a do-it-all player at the position. So Tyler Nubin, listed at 6'1 3/4", 208 pounds. He certainly filled up the stat sheet his last two seasons: 43 tackles, 20 run stops, a forced fumble, 4 picks, 4 pass breakups, and a 41.7 pass rating allowed in coverage in 2022. In 2023, 43 tackles, 13 run stops, a forced fumble, 5 picks, 4 pass breakups, and a 39.6 passer rating allowed in coverage. That is essentially the same as the quarterback taking the football and spiking it into the ground. Really, really impressive, from a stat sheet perspective. When you turn on the film, what do you see with his strengths? Well, it starts with having great processing skills in coverage, especially zone coverage, especially when, he can kind of drop into the hole, drop into the robber looks, and also be in split field looks, covering a deep half of the field. I think the route recognition skills and instincts are extremely impressive. When it comes to route recognition, you see him understand where he needs to be, right? Am I driving on this over route? Am I, retreating to handle the post? Do I need to take, this number 2 on this vertical, right? He has all of that down because he's seen a lot, and he's very attuned to feel for leverage and where he needs to be, right? Spacing with coverage and zone, right? He's just very attuned to that. And I think you see him, just have a really natural feel playing the safety position, especially when he's deeper down the field, especially in that deep half, right? And in the intermediate area. I think, when you look at him, the anticipatory nature of his play is really, really good. And I think that contributes to a lot of what you see on the strengths because, when he can read the quarterback's eyes, when he can make that split-second decision, when he can kind of anticipate, and when he's sort of, it feels like guessing, but it really isn't because it's clearly dedication to film study and understanding tendencies from quarterbacks where, he closes with impressive speed on a linear track, and then you see him make great plays on the football. He can track it down the field and attack in the air, right? He can really expand, his catch radius at times and make plays away from his frame. And I think you look at the in-air athleticism, good explosiveness, good catch point timing to make plays in the air. So he does all of that at a high level. And, combine that with, his ability to work into run fits from depth, right? Maintain good leverage there. He's got really good tackling skills, good stopping power. He can play physical and be an enforcer at times. And he's also alignment versatile. I think you see him being in split field. Minnesota let him work in single high at times. They let him, as I mentioned earlier, drop into the hole in coverage and be able to kind of poach off of backside digs and make plays on the ball there. And he can line up, in the box, and they allowed him sometimes to be in man coverage in the slot. And also, you can tell, really great communicator on film. Now, all of that is really, really good. And the weaknesses is by no means really to kind of drop his standing as safety one in the class. But when you look at the weaknesses, right, there are some things that are very clear. And it's really functional athleticism limitations, right? And when you look at really, really good single high safeties, a lot of them have the elite explosiveness and speed to go with those instincts. And really, Tyler Nubin doesn't quite have all that. The athleticism is good. It's solid. It's not, great top tier at the safety position. So I think that leads to your questions about range. And when he's in single high looks, can he cover enough ground, right? Can he drive on the football quickly enough to make plays? Can he sort of adjust his path on maybe a curvilinear track rather than just a linear one and kind of maintain, impressive speed? I think that those are questions about him in single high. And then I think when you look at, the ability to recover, the ability to change direction, right? He's not super fluid with transitional quicks. Change the direction's a little bit tougher. He kind of has to gather himself a little bit. He's a little bit high-hipped, but also you can just kind of tell, the movement skills aren't as fluid as you see with some other DBs right now. So I think that contributes a little bit to kind of saying, okay, like, can he play robber box and then, be in a deep half? I think that's really his best fit. And so when you look at as well the limited recovery athleticism when he takes a bad angle, right, when he's kind of, whether it be against the run, whether it be in coverage, right, whether it be, getting after a receiver after the catch. I think if he takes a bad angle, you see that he doesn't have the explosiveness, the change of direction, the ability to maintain a speed on a curvilinear track to run anybody down. And so when he gets out of position like that, you see big plays become the result. And I think when Minnesota dropped him into man coverage a little bit, you saw his answer kind of be physicality, right? Because the change of direction really isn't there to just kind of mirror in coverage. He has to play physical, he has to grab a little bit, and that could lead to penalties in the NFL. So Tyler Nubin, is he the top safety in the 2024 NFL draft? Perhaps. He is certainly in the conversation up there with a couple other names. But I do think fit is going to come into the equation here with Tyler Nubin in that, you have to get him in the right role, because I'm not sure that a defense with that's going to play a lot of single high, I don't think he fits in that role. I would rather have him be near the box, right, with all the run fit success he has, the tackling ability, and also the instincts to kind of be roamer in the middle of the field and sort of pick passes off, right, read the quarterback's eyes in that regard. Or you have him in a split field coverage, right, in a deep half where he can, really focus on the route concepts on one half of the field, and he has enough athleticism to cover up, half of the field, cover up ground in that regard. So I do think Tyler Nubin, really, really good prospect, but I do think fit is going to come into the equation when, teams are looking to draft him. So hope you guys enjoyed this video on Tyler Nubin. If you did, throw a like down there, subscribe if you're new. Plenty more NFL draft content coming very, very soon. I will catch you guys in the next video. Farewell.